off-world aquatic anomalies or Siberian fictional fairy tale? What were the alien underground swimmers of Lake Baikal? Lake Baikal, Ray? Go ahead, like you care, but...
Lieutenant Andreas, finally, are you going to admit to the viewing audience here on the AM that you are AWOL, a lieutenant in the British Royal Navy and a disgraced citizen of that Mongolia? I even suspect that you're an illegal alien.
Back on this bit, huh, Ray? No, and why do you keep chasing me on this Mongolian thing?
Andreas? That's because you task me, Andreas. You task me. You task me and I shall have you. I shall chase you round the moons of Nibia, around the Antares maelstrom, and round perdition's flames before I give you up.
What the hell are you talking about?
This is City Alpha 5!
Okay.
Dickhead.
So, Casper, appears to be lost in space, whatever that means. So...
That's his default setting?
Yeah, that's something. This is a new direction he's going here with his...
mental illness.
Yes.
It's a nice way
You
of
weren't
saying
here
it.
for the last show. Unbelievable. So, 1982. Where were you? Where were you? Where were you? Where were you? Sure. Anyway, I was engaged in a deadly exchange with a rabid Mongolian marmot. Barely survived. Barely made it out alive. How about you?
I was waiting for He-Man to come out still.
In 1982, I thought it was when that came out in 81.
Master of the Universe? I think it was like 1982.
Okay. Oh, you might probably.
It doesn't really matter. I wasn't alive anyway.
There we are. How about you? 82.
I was working on the railroad
Working on the railroad.
all the livelong day.
Indeed.
This isn't a lascivious joke or story here.
I was not alive.
Okay, I see. No one's ever alive,
Railroads.
huh?
No
Ruining
one's
everything.
ever I know.
Okay. All right. Off the western shore of Lake Baikal, 1982, a deployment of Navy, or let's just say Soviet Navy divers were conducting a research mission into the depths of Lake Baikal. Lake Baikal, Siberia, the one of the oldest, if not the oldest, lake on the planet, the deepest lake on the planet, without a doubt, and one of the most mysterious. And they were conducting a research mission. And anytime the Soviets say anything about research, they mean military-oriented. I gotta dig that. Anyway, that's probably the only really cool thing about the...
What do you mean? Going to dinner is military-oriented for them. Everything's military for them.
Exactly, and I would probably say probably the coolest thing about the Soviet, or one of the only cool things about the Soviet experience, was their overt militarism. And but that's a different story. Still get into that. Anyway, so this... These frogmen were doing their research and found themselves being observed by a group of underwater, no doubt off-world, were they alien? I don't know, swimmers. And they've been, this incident has been noted as the swimmers of Lake Baikal, or the Lake Baikal swimmers. And at a depth of about 50 meters, they were approached underwater. Would you be approached underwater, or is that an approachment, or what is that called? Yeah.
I call that stalking, really, but you know.
Yeah, stalking. And
I mean, they were in the water first.
exactly.
Reverse stalking.
9 foot tall humanoid creatures that appear to be wearing some sort of flashy flash, silver jumpsuits, skin tight. There's always the skin tight. Studio 54 underwater there. And circular see-through helmets of some sort, but no breathing apparatus of any sort to be detected. And the divers scurried away, as you would if you encountered something like that deep underwater.
Yeah.
And they returned to the surface, and in proper Soviet form, they were instructed to go back down immediately and catch it. So you have what were presumed to be advanced alien species living deep in the, not the oceans, yes, but in this the lake, and you're gonna go down there with nets and nets.
You don't know what they had.
Well, no, supposedly they were armed with nets and snares. And so it does sound ridiculous. And
Feels like a low-tech solution.
I know, and they the soldiers reluctantly went down there, and all they did is they shined their torches in the same vicinity, and which alerted the Lake Baikal swimmers to appear again, and as soon as the off-worlders, we'll just call them for the show's sake, noticed that they were attempting to catch them. One of the swimmers took a metallic object from his side, and he, an unknown weapon, it instigated a vicious maelstrom that swirled the Soviet divers about and returned them immediately to the surface. And once again, in proper Soviet form, they were unable to decompress in the decompression chambers because they were broken. And out of 7 of the divers, I believe only 4 were able to use the chambers because the other ones had malfunctioned. And 3 of them died as a result of the bends and obviously unable to decompress. And so faulty Soviet equipment is, as per usual. That's one of the things that, besides the communism part, one of the things that's just not cool. So it has been suggested, obviously, that alien bases exist within the depths of Lake Baikal, and as well as sinister sea monsters, which have been sighted there for centuries, and orbs and UFOs, all the kinds of mysterious paranormal carrying-ons associated with Lake Baikal. So this is an interesting thing. What do we think?
I'm giving this one Festering Fable. I mean, you already pointed it out right there in the story. Faulty equipment. Who wants to say that their diving trials failed that way?
Well, it was, I believe...
You know?
I think
Come on.
It was 2008 when the secret Soviet files, Russian files came out. And I don't think it takes any in-depth investigation to know that a lot of the Russian stuff just doesn't work very well sometimes.
Plus recession. World recession right around that time.
Maybe somebody left a short story in the
Could be.
files.
Could be.
Perhaps, yes. But the Russians, they had released all sorts of supposed UFO and USO documentation about how nuclear submarines came across large groups of underwater craft traveling at upwards of what would be 300 miles an hour under the water and things like that. So the Russians released a lot of secret stuff if it wasn't leaked or wasn't penetrated by the CIA.
Unless it was misinformation.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I read a little bit about it, but I didn't see any documents myself.
What do you think?
I didn't see any actual I don't know, any evidence. It's just a few stories, you know.
Okay.
All right.
So I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. I was reading that they have tunnels that went out into other bodies of water and all this weird stuff, but it's okay, do they have any documents of the tunnels? Do they show
no,
anything?
exactly.
And that's what I would be like.
Well,
I'd be
actually-
interested to see the stuff.
Well, the
but
thing
I
about
don't
Lake
see
Baikal, from what
That
I
could be good.
understand, is Lake Baikal because of their the underground networks and the way that the water funnels and travels, and you have all these vacuums and all these, that a lot of the species, there's 4,000 different species that exist in Lake Baikal alone. And the thing about it is that they are said to grow to phenomenal sizes as a result of just the conditions that arise under.
What is it? Radiation?
No, it's not radiation. It's something. it's
Chernobyl style.
It's smart person stuff that I don't understand. But that's a fact, and it almost
Weird bacteria.
The famous sea creature that supposedly lives within the depths of the lake is supposed to resemble a giant pike. If you know what a pike is,
The water horse?
No. Similar to
Like
a
the barracuda? Yeah.
but it's a giant pike, and there's been stories of sea creatures that live in the lake and have even come up on shore and devoured cattle. And
It's always the cattle, you know.
grabbing fishermen and give them a good going over.
Who keeps their cattle near the lake? Who does that?
What if the cattle just stepped in a little too far and there was a drop off point? Drowned.
Dumbass cattle.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean, there's a reason they're cattle.
So the little that we know, this is going to be a quick little episode. This story's been covered so many times, like we always say, and I like to give the disclaimer, we don't get into anything in depth here. It's just three friends and roundabout friends talking bollocks for 35 minutes. But what do we think on this? True tale or festering fable? What says you, Grimmhauser?
This one stinks even through the water. I'm calling festering fable on this guy.
Oh, that seems to be your theme, is the festering fable. But
Well, I can't help it, because, I mean, we got the true believer, and then, you know, you could give a shit, but it just depends, right?
exactly.
I think that weird things like that are definitely possible.
Uh-oh.
But I'm like in the middle. I don't see enough information
You need
out
more, yeah.
there about this particular story.
So really, you know, you got one guy who doesn't care, one guy who cares too much, and a lady who needs more from you. So, come on.
Yeah. Needs more indeed. Yeah, so what are you, Grimmhauser, what are you giving this? You giving this a true tale or a festering fable?
2 thumbs down. Down deeper than the lake itself, festering fable. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I see.
Oh wow, that's
You're
a bit
good-
dramatic, don't you think?
It's not dramatic enough.
I'm gonna keep it right here in the middle.
Oh, now we're
Am I allowed to do that? No.
Of course, oh yeah.
Maybe?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's free country.
Yeah, so I do have to say on the Lake Baikal swimmers, 90% true tale.
90%.
90%
You're
true
giving it
tale.
A minus, huh?
Yes, I am. It's just like any story that gets fabricated over time. I do believe that if there is a place underwater for aliens or off-world intellect to live and survive and thrive, Lake Baikal would be the place.
Really?
The deepest lake in the world, freshwater lake in the world, and just the carrying-ons there and the mystique and the paranormal stories associated. I totally believe that there's no reason this story can't be true for the most part. And I would actually, the thing about it is, why would the Soviet Union or Russia allow such an embarrassing story to leak about sending in Navy divers basically on a suicide mission and with nets and
Total misinformation, I'm telling you.
snares?
I mean, they
you
didn't
know?
die from like the creatures, right?
No, it
They
actually
died because they couldn't decompress.
Yeah, the
Exactly.
bends. They got the bends.
they got
Bad.
the bins, yeah. But it still is an embarrassment for the Soviet government.
Yeah. So, I mean, one guy was like, okay, I don't want to get shot over this, so it was aliens.
Yeah.
It's also in the 80s. I mean,
There you go.
I don't know about that, but
Okay.
maybe
all right.
they didn't have as fancy of equipment. I don't know.
It's fair.
I don't know.
Well, they had nuclear submarines, you know. And
Okay,
they
so
had,
never mind. Yeah.
you know, and they.
Why didn't they just take a
Right.
submersible down there then? I don't know.
I think they did later.
Oh, really?
That's when they had like, or earlier maybe it was. I don't know.
I
They
would
saw
have-
orbs of light, and I read some stories about that. Like
Ooh.
the bright yellow orbs that they saw above
Yes,
them.
yes.
Blah blah blah.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Now it gets interesting.
Okay. I do have to give some credit to the Soviet soldiers and these Navy divers just for the bollocks that they had for even going down there and some of the things that they do and some of the missions they have taken in their space missions. And, a lot of these, cosmonauts, they end up erased and disappeared because, ships blow up and
the risk you take.
they come down and they'll open the hatches and they'll be burnt to a crisp or they'll be suffocated and but it takes a level of courage that I believe a lot of most men just would not have to do those kind of things.
Hey, on the bright side, you become a legend either way.
Exactly. So yeah, it's really, really interesting. So yeah, I have to say for myself, I'll give it a true tale on this. Yes, I really something. It's like I like to talk about. You had the Concorde. We know the Concorde. The supersonic jet. France and Great Britain came together on that one. Well, Russia came out with one too, and it was a Tupolev. I don't know the specific designation, and it was so poorly built and rushed. Beautiful jet. It looked very similar to the Concorde, supersonic. I think during trials or an air show, it crashed into a neighborhood, killing lots of people.
It's embarrassing.
That's a fail.
Yes, and obviously the Concorde had its tragic episode too, but that's a different story. We're not positive that was from the build of it. That's another mystery. But so, I have to say, true tale on the Lake Baikal swimmers. Yes. All right. So, another true tale worth discussing. Something that I really need to get some insight on it because I looked at the game, but I didn't understand it. We have to leave this to Blake Grimmhauser and Grimmhauser's Gaming Guide.
Oh.
What says you, Grimmhauser?
So let's talk about Metro. The Metro series originates with the novels by Dmitry Glukhovsky, if I'm saying that right. So you start with Metro 2033, the story of Artyom in the underground, aptly named Metro, aka the subways or whatever of Russia. And this is where people are surviving this post-nuclear apocalypse, but they're not alone. So, interesting little thing here. The only currency in that world is bullets. And, yes, and a little replacement filter for your masks. Real fun playthrough for this, but let's get into the kind of like the who's and why's there. You're RTM, you're a guy who's known, for kind of running between places, supplies, stuff like that, information. Because you can't really do efficient communications between, we'll call them communities, underground, between dens of mutants and the mysterious Dark Ones. Now, the Dark Ones, hard to see, ostensibly psychic beings that you encounter throughout the Metro games. And in the novels too, just read that for yourself. You're not going to get much out of me for this one. But RTM's journey is one, learning, what it is to be a person and make moral choices. 2, to figure out whether or not the Dark Ones are more humane than he is.
Okay.
Which is an interesting turn. And 3, figuring out if the Dark Ones, are they aliens? Are they creatures that were always there that just didn't come out until, all the veil fell down? Or were they humanity's next step?
Or they're demons.
Ooh, demons. Not bad. I didn't even think about that. But all the same, it is a game where the most fun parts of it is, you're trekking along, you're shooting mutants, you're replacing, ammunition. And one of the best parts of this game is you have to watch out for your breathing meter, right? Because you have to replace your filters every so often. And if you run out, you start dying.
No.
Because humanity cannot survive on the surface without a mask. And it even has a fun little function where you would just wipe your mask. It's just a button just for that. It's like wipe the mask because you get ash all over it and stuff. RDM's journey is insane. And it is hard to trust anybody. Especially himself.
The funniest thing about this game is I was checking it out and I didn't even realize it's well over 10 years. Well, 2010.
The first one.
Yeah, the first one, okay, yeah. I mean, that feels pretty good.
Yeah, all three games are very good, but if you are not a gamer, you can read the novels instead. The stories are fairly similar. You know, the novel's always going to be more in-depth about character motivations, so maybe always start there.
Well, the thing about Grimmhauser's gaming guide is we will only speak on games that we would recommend. Yeah, we won't bash games here or anything like that, and it's also a way for us not to get in, copyright trouble. But the thing about it is that this is a game that you really like and you recommend people go out and get this game, right? Even though
you can get that on sale. On Steam on sale pretty often. All three games. Yeah, and they already all have their enhanced editions out, as far as I remember.
Okay.
So I mean, definitely take some time and learn RDM's story.
There we go.
Or don't.
Oh.
Grimmhauser's gaming guide. That was a good one. You know what else? You know what else is a good one?
What?
Oh, I was so parched today. I really was. And I thought, should I have I try not to ever drink soda. I'm a fan of Vasa Midgas sparkling waters and things like that.
Fancy.
But the thing about that is that you have a little bit of sodium in those, but you don't really have anything that's really good for you unless it's, spiked with minerals or mineral water. But if you want something a little bit more substance, and I was thinking, what could I have? Okay. And then Natasha, Elle, unbelievable, tried to hit me in the forehead for some reason.
Oh.
Should have had a V8.
Oh.
And that wasn't even planned. You're correct. You should have had a V8. And now I need stitches. Anyway, what says you about the V8 delicious drink? Grimmhauser.
Apparently V8 stands for violence now.
Evil, yes, people.
But you need true that. You will need plenty of calories and minerals and such if you're going to hurt other people. So
true.
V8.
Okay.
Whatever it is, it's good eating. I'm drinking. Actually, the first time
And it only has 920 milligrams of sodium, which is 40% of your daily allowance.
Well, there we are. All right, Ray Casper, do your little commercial bit.
Slaughter for hours. Okay.
Ray Casper here for delicious V8 vegetable drink. That broad, got dizzy, drunk broad hit Andreas in his big stupid head. What a nincompoop and what a drunk floozy.
Anyway, so obviously Casper's been released. Casper's back. According to Casper, he's bad. Let's Let's hear it. Go ahead, Ray. Thank you so much, and thank you for your rudeness in the intro as well. Go ahead, Ray, please.
I don't know either of you bum chums, but you yeomen, I remember you. I never forget a face. This is Chekhov, isn't it? I never thought I'd see your face again.
It's not a jack-o'-lantern.
Lieutenant Commander Grimmhauser, has Andreas ever told you the tale to amuse you? He's never told his commander? Never told you how Lieutenant Andreas's ship picked up the Botany Bay, lost in space year 1996, and sent 70 of us into exile on that barren sand heap with only the contents of our cargo bays to sustain us. He never told you that, did he, Grimmhauser? On Earth, 200 years ago,
What?
Ray Casper was a prince with power over millions. Lieutenant Andreas, I shall leave you as you left me,
Guy needs some
as you
help.
left her, marooned for all eternity in the center of a dead planet, buried alive, buried alive, buried alive.
Sounds like a rock song.
Danger. Danger, Erich Andreas. Danger.
Andreas, one more thing.
All right.
So much gravitas.
The hell is wrong with this man?
Everything.
There are many levels.
78, 79 years old, and,
I-
he's playing with the phone. Okay.
Reality means nothing to that man.
Oh, unbelievable. Chekhov, is it? Mrs. Chekhov?
What does Chekhov mean?
There's only one reference I could think. Chekhov's gun.
I can think of Pavel Chekhov on the Starship Enterprise, but
Oh!
yes.
I'm not a nerd, so I don't know what you're talking about.
And obviously not a drama major either.
Not so sure about that.
Yeah, no.
All right,
Fair.
conclusionary wrap up. Lake Baikal swimmers. I want it to be true. I believe it's true.
Why?
You know,
You want everything to be true.
I
dude.
want everything to be true. I even still believe that there is a Loch Ness monster. So
Santa Claus.
yes, and I will do a story on that one day.
Oh no!
Oh yeah.
No!
And just the fact that there are so many stories of USO, unidentified submersible objects. You know, contrary to
Can you tell with all the trash? I can't.
well, you just
Got nothing.
These high speed craft that they're seen entering the ocean, and they're not deterred or slowed down by hitting the water, and the way they can travel underwater, and they don't make wakes and waves. Exactly. So
How does that work?
yeah, well, it's physics that the human animal does not comprehend nor understand. Yeah, far beyond our understanding. You know, I think it's. I believe when it comes to the paranormal, we all should retain a little bit of agnosticism.
I don't know.
Because
Man.
I don't actually believe man has the intellect to know what happens
Underwater.
on the other side of the galaxy, as it were.
Okay.
These are the voyages of the USS bullshit. No.
Well, it is a paranormal channel, but it's more of a bit of satire theater. That's the entire channel. Speaking of satire theater, it's a quick little show. Say goodbye to your lunatic friend who thinks he's on a spacecraft now. How did he go
I'd
from?
rather not.
How did he go from being a captain on a tall ship to now he's traveling amongst the Milky Way.
Somebody changed his medication mix.
All right.
So now we're about to see some whole new dimensions, literally.
Obviously, he's trolling us.
Insomnia.
He cannot be
Insomnia.
that. Ray Casper cannot be this. No one's this screwy. Okay. So
Really?
obviously he's trolling
That's
us.
not true.
Well,
some people are.
And obviously he did a show on his channel which nobody watches.
Hey.
Unfortunately, because I think it's funny.
Some people need drugs to achieve what this man does.
Well, what he says,
Probably
he even
does.
admitted that he was trolling on the show. I think that. Well, he implied it. He didn't admit it. So yeah.
I don't think he understands what this show is.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure he knows what trolling means. But I
know.
I don't know. Anyway,
It's very lonely.
I defended yours. Well,
No.
you should go visit him. All right. Yeah, you should do the old Clockwork Orange surprise visit.
No, you should wrap the show up because it's over.
Okay. All right. Thank you for holding, Ray. Go ahead once again. I know you can hear me, Ray. You do this bit every week. Go ahead, Ray. Go ahead, Ray.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Erich Andreas Unexplained Spaceship Flying Saucer Grimmhauser Gamer Gay Boy Show here on the AM.
Okay.
And Lieutenant Andreas, you have not seen the last of Commander Ray Casper. No, you can't get away and you can't escape from me, Andreas. But I'm on to you. You can't get away. No, Andreas. From hell's heart, I stab at thee. For hate's sake, Andreas, I spit my last breath at thee, Andreas. Hey, Andreas, you like to play pinochle?
No. What's pinochle?
I don't know.
You dirty butt
Oh,
bunches.
boy. All right. So, thank you. Thank you. What's he?
Did he quote Moby Dick at you?
I don't know what he quoted. I'll look it up later, though, and decide whether we're going to keep it in the show. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to the Erich Andreas Unexplained. And lovely Natasha Elle has paid us a visit again. No longer Petty Officer Second Class, but Lieutenant Commander Blake Grimmhauser, and myself, Erich Andreas, Lonely Lieutenant, obviously. I'd like to extend you this invitation to like and subscribe and tell your 3 friends. And that's not an insult. I don't even have 3 friends. They don't even really count. And so I will give you the Unexplained 2 thumbs up, the peace out, and our little birds. Fly away, little birds.
What the hell?
That's
Get out of
all.
here.